Okay, so check this out. There was a 54-year-old man apparently died while touring the movie Annabelle. Are you guys familiar with those movies? You know, that's kind of scary. I think the guy is from Illinois. Yeah, right here, right in my backyard. I'm from Illinois, but I don't know how far he is from me. But there's a video. I mean, I see him all the time. I mean, there's today I see him. Oh, there's a 54-year-old man died, Annabelle, whatever. And so I think it's just a coincidence. People are making big deal about this, about maybe Annabelle have something to do with it, or yada yada yada.
You can't blame a doll for a jailbreak, right? Or a house fire. Those are, of course, rhetorical questions, but they came up back in the spring and...
Wait, that's not even Annabelle. That looks like Raggedy Ann. Well, let's see. Let's see.
We talked about them on this show when a supposedly possessed doll named Annabelle was on tour in Louisiana around the time of that mass jail escape and a plantation fire, which, for the record, she had nothing to do with. She's a doll, for God's sake. But she's not just any doll. Annabelle was the inspiration for...
Man, that is some creepy doll right there.
the movie The Conjuring, which is, in fact, the most successful horror movie franchise in history.
Conjuring.
According to legend, she moves on her own, she leaves notes for people, and worse.
No, 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 no. No, no, no.
And now some wonder whether she has committed her foulest act on record. On Sunday, a paranormal investigator named Dan Rivera died unexplainedly and unexpectedly while touring Pennsylvania with, you guessed it, Annabelle.
That is not Annabelle. That's like like the Raggedy Ann doll.
He was 54 years old, and he had designed and built the special crate that reportedly keeps Annabelle's demonic tendencies in check. It is covered in crosses. It is painted with a concoction of holy water and paint. So where is Annabelle tonight? Reportedly, she's back at the Connecticut Museum that she calls home, but she does have another tour date coming up, October 4th, in Rock Island, Illinois, and we'll be watching from a safe distance.
Rock Island, Illinois. That's probably south of me. Far enough. So who's this guy? What's his name? Something Rivera or something like that. Let's check it out. I grokked it. Grokked it. Search it and who it is. So bear with me here. There we go. So his name is Edward Shanahan, was Chicago-based psychic medium, paranormal investigator. He's an author, speaker with a decades-long career in the supernatural and spiritual fields. That is quite a resume. He was born in 1958. He was a lifelong resident of Burbank, Illinois. That's south of me, south of Chicago. Living in what he called the Chicago Paranormal Triangle, an area encompassing haunted site like Bachelor Grove Cemetery and Archer Avenue. Never heard of it? His interest in the paranormal, put that in there, so right there. So, what it say? And his 100 like Edward an area encompassing 100 blah blah blah. All right, so his interest in the paranormal began early when his first documented encounter at 8:16 in 1974 at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. Raised in a Catholic environment, Shanahan's early exposure to spiritual concepts like angels and miracles shaped his perspective, which he later integrated into his work, preferring the term supernatural over paranormal. What is that? That seems like it's the same to me. Supernatural and paranormal. I don't know. just to emphasize spirit-based experiences. So Shanahan began his public paranormal career in 2000, gaining recognition as a spirit feeler. Is that some similar to like a dog whisperer? Oh, maybe. And a psychic medium. He was awarded the Best Chicago Psychic title in 2012 and was known for discovering several haunted locations in the Chicago area, including the Senator John Humphrey's house, Al Capone's Colton Hotel, and others. He hosted Chicago Paranormal Nights, where participants explore haunted sites, often concluded with his signature circle of energy seance. How you say that? For spirit communication, enhanced by tools like the Echo Box, his work extended beyond Chicago to states like Nevada, the Bahamas, assisting with paranormal investigation and tours. Well, he's dead now, so I wonder if he wrote a book or anything like that. He's an author, though. There you go. An author. Shanahan's wrote 2 books. Like I said, he did write a book. Taking the paranormal and spiritual world seriously, theories, thoughts, experience, and my letter to God. He was also featured in 5 other authors' books, including Voices from the Chicago Graves in 2003, and Encyclopedia of Haunted Places in 2005. He created 2 free online magazines, Paranormal and Spiritual World News and Bachelor Grove Cemetery Tribute, and contributed articles to our outlets like Chicago Now and Examiner.com and the Chicago Tribune's online community. Shanahan co-hosted the Unexplained World podcast and internet radio show for 8 years, discussing paranormal topics, sharing experiences. So, is this the same guy? I thought he said something about like Rivera or something like that. I don't know, but might be the same guy. Might be I don't know. It should be the same guy. That's the only one that's associated death with Annabelle. So his spiritual journey was deeply personal, driven by reported healing miracle for his granddaughter, where he offered his life in exchange for her recovery. Ooh, that is something. An event he believed amplified his spiritual gifts. Certified in law and attraction, and as a life coach by the Global Sciences Foundation, he conducted psychic readings, house parties, and corporate events. Emphasizing connecting people with loved ones, Spirit Shanahan's approach focused on meaningful experiences, aiming to bring closures and demonstrate the existence of the spirit world, often citing his ability to touch a person's soul as a blessing of trust. Oh. Seriously? Let's go back over here again. What was his name again? This one.
You can't blame a doll for a jailbreak, right? Or a house fire. Those are, of course, rhetorical questions, but they came up back in the spring, and we talked about them on this show when a supposedly possessed doll named Annabelle was on tour in Louisiana around the time of that mass jail escape and a plantation fire.
Yeah.
Which, for the record, she had nothing to do with. She's a doll, for God's sake. But she's not just any doll. Annabelle was the inspiration for the movie The Conjuring, which is, in fact, the most successful horror movie franchise in history.
I want to see the name.
According to legend, she moves on her own, she leaves notes for people, and worse. And now some wonder whether she has committed her foulest act on record. On Sunday, a paranormal investigator named Dan Rivera died
Dan Rivera. So this is a different person than what I was talking about. Dan Rivera? Huh. All right. All right, GROK. Tell me more. Who is Dan Rivera that died then? GROK says, I apologize for the confusion. It appears that there was a mix-up in the information provided. Edward Shanahan, Chicago-based paranormal investigator, was not the individual associated with Annabelle's doll tour who passed away. Instead, Dan Rivera, 54-year-old paranormal investigator and lead investigator of the New England Society of Psychic, died unexpectedly on July 13th. during the Devil's on the Run tour, featuring the Annabelle doll in Gettysburg. So here is Dan Rivera's background. Professional, Dan Rivera was a well-known paranormal investigator and lead investigator for the New England Society of Psychic Research. Well, why would GROK tell me it's a Shanahan? Huh. That's weird. So GROK says clarification on Edward Shanahan. Edward Shanahan, mentioned in the initial career, was a separate individual, a Chicago-based psychic medium and paranormal investigator who passed away on July 12, 2025 in Morris, Illinois during a different event. There is no evidence connecting Shanahan to Annabelle Dar tour. His background, as previously detailed, focused in Chicago and hunting. So he died on the 12th. And then Rivera died on the 13th. But they both, though, are psychic some sort. Yeah? Based in Chicago. But it's not tied to Annabelle. What the heck, GROK? What the heck, GROK? Anyway, that is interesting. All right, so that guy actually got it died is Dan Rivera, the one that's associated with the doll Annabelle. Shanahan, Edward Shanahan, has nothing to do with the Annabelle, but he also passed away on the 12th. So it's like a day apart. That is interesting and creepy. All right, well, we'll end it here. Whoop.